there, welcome. So glad you're here with the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we're having the blessing of rain today, which is really a herald of the wherever you're from. So we're going to start with some lovely music by Amber Darlin. So Amber, let's hear what you got today.
Thanks, Andrea. Well, this is a song by Eddie Watkins Jr. called When You Believe. I hope you'll sing it with me. Anything is possible when you believe. You know anything is possible when you believe. You can make a mountain move when you believe. Yeah, you can make a mountain move when you believe. Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe? Sing that with me. Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe in yourself, in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe, oh, we're gonna make a miracle when you believe. You know you're gonna make a miracle when you believe. And everything you want, you got when you believe. You know everything you want, you got when you believe in yourself, in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in yourself, when you believe, 'cause I believe in me, and I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. No, 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 no. I said I believe in me, and I believe in you. We believe in each other. There ain't nothing we can do. Oh, anything is possible when we believe. Sing that with me. You know anything is possible when we believe. Sing that again, let's believe it together. Oh yeah, anything is possible when we believe. You know anything is possible when we believe. Ha. Oh, that's a good one to sing this morning. Hey, if you're out there in the interwebs on Facebook land and you can put in a comment and say hello to all our spiritual community out there. It's such a lovely time for us to connect every Sunday morning, and we're so glad you're tuned in, whether you're on YouTube or the website or Facebook. And we love to know where you're from and who you are and all of those familiar faces out there. While we sing this next song, my soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the Thanks for being here. We are moving on over to our practitioner of the day for an invocational prayer.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Philip Flores, and I am a new licensed practitioner here for the Center for Spiritual Living in Bellingham. Please join me in an opening invocation. And I know that this is true, that there is only one divine presence, one universal wisdom, one truth, and it is Spirit, it is God, it is nature, it is one. And I am one with Spirit, one with all that is, one with you. And I recognize and acknowledge this presence in this and every moment. I allow it to express through me, in me, with me, around me, and as me. I allow Spirit to guide me with a new vision into a new journey, stepping into a quest of spiritual and personal growth. I feel this guidance into perfection, allowing it to manifest into expression. I am so thankful for this wonderful community and Dr. Andrea's trusted words and leadership, and I am grateful for this moment, right here and right now. And so it is.
Thank you, Philip. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. Let's sing that again. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I trust and I know as I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love. Still waters, oh my soul. Still these waters, so I may know. Still waters, let me be pure reflection of love, healing peace. Still waters, oh my soul. Still these waters, so I may know. Still waters, let me be pure reflection of love, healing peace. Still waters, quiet my mind. Still these waters, so I may find. Still waters, reminding me I am love, I am light, healing peace. I am love, I am light, healing peace. We're going to move over to our wonderful Reverend Dr. Andrea Asebedo for the message of the day.
Two of my favorites, Amber, thank you. And thank you, Philip, for the wonderful prayer. Okay, everybody, here we are in October. The theme for the month is Now is the Time. And it's under the overarching yearly theme of who do we choose to be? And yesterday I was with a group of people who are part of a team here in our center called the Connection Team. And we had this delightful Zoom meeting, and I got to tell a story. And the story is actually still living with me. And so I thought I would tell the story again if you'd like to hear it. Anybody? I hear a yes. So this is a story from the White Mountain Apache tribe. And it was brought to Michael Meade, who then brought it into one of his books called Why the World Doesn't End. And it's a magical story, which is why it's still living with me, and I hope you enjoy it. It has to do with the today's theme, which is Vision Quest. So here it is. The old people of the tribes would tell of a special cave where knowledge of the wonders and workings of the world could be found. Even now, some of the native people say that the Cave of Knowledge exists and might be discovered again. They say it's tucked away in the side of a mountain, not too far to go, they say, yet no one seems to find it anymore. Despite all the highways and byways, all the thoroughfares and back roads that crisscross the face of the earth, despite all the maps that detail and try to define each area, no one seems to find that old cave of knowledge. That's too bad, they say, because inside that cave can be found genuine knowledge about how to act when the dark times come again and the balance of the world tips away from order and slips towards chaos. Inside that cave, they say, lives a very old woman who remains unaffected by the rush of the times and the confusion and strife of daily life. She attends to other things. She has a longer sense of time and a deep capacity for vision. She spends most of her time weaving in the cave where light and shadows play. She wants to fashion the most beautiful garment in the whole world. She has been at this weaving project for a very long time and has reached the point of making the fringe for the edge of her exquisitely designed cloak. She wants that fringe to be special, wants it to be meaningful as well as elegant. So she weaves it with porcupine quills. She likes the idea of something that can poke you as an element of beauty. She likes turning things around and seeing life from odd angles. In order to use the porcupine quills, she must flatten each one with her teeth. After years of biting hard on those quills, her teeth have become worn down to nubs. But still, the old woman keeps biting down, and she keeps weaving on. The only time she interrupts her weaving work is when she goes to stir the soup that simmers in a great cauldron at the back of the cave. The old cauldron hangs over a fire that began a long, long time ago. The old woman can't recall anything older than that fire. It just might be the oldest thing in the whole world. Occasionally, she does recall that she must stir the soup that simmers over those flames. For that simmering stew contains all the seeds and roots that become the grains and plants and herbs that sprout up all over the face of the earth. If the old woman fails to stir that ancient stew, the fire will scorch the ingredients, and there's no telling what will happen when that occurs. So the old woman divides her time between weaving the exquisite cloak and stirring the elemental soup. In a sense, she's responsible for weaving things together and stirring things up, weaving things together and stirring things up. She senses when the time has come to let the weaving go and stir the soup. Because she is old and tired from her labors, and because of the relentless passage of time, she moves very slowly, and it takes a while for her to amble over to the cauldron. As the old woman shuffles across the floor and makes her way to the back of the ancient cave, a black dog watches her every move. The dog was there all along. Seemingly asleep, it awakens as soon as the old weaver turns her attention from one task to the other. As she begins stirring the soup in order to sustain the seeds, the black dog moves to where the weaving lies on the floor of the cave. The dog picks up a loose thread with his teeth and begins to pull on it. As the black dog pulls on the loose thread, the beautiful garment begins to unravel. Since each thread has been woven to another, pulling upon one begins to undo them all. As the great stew is being stirred up, the elegant garment comes apart and becomes a chaotic mess on the floor. When the old woman returns to take up her handiwork again, she finds nothing but chaos where there had been a garment of great elegance and beauty. The cloak she has woven with great care has been pulled apart, the fringe all undone. The effort of creation has been turned to nothing. The old woman sits and looks silently upon the remnants of her once beautiful design. She ignores the presence of the black dog as she stares intently at the tangle of undone threads and distorted patterns. But after a while, she bends down, picks up a loose thread, and begins to weave the whole thing again. As she pulls thread after thread from the chaotic mess, she begins again to imagine the most beautiful garment in the whole world. And as she weaves, new visions and elegant designs appear before her, and her old hands begin to knowingly give them vibrant shape. Soon she has forgotten the cloak she was weaving before, as she concentrates on capturing the new design and weaving it into the most beautiful garment ever seen in the whole world. And that's the story, and a very archetypal story it is. And it has to do with what I wanted to talk to you today about. We had a wonderful discussion about all the elements of the story and which part of the story reached out and grabbed you and carried you away. And I don't know which one that was for you. Maybe you can put it in the Facebook chat if you're on Facebook. But I'll tell you a couple of things that the story is working in me. See, one of the important things about that story, I think, is the line, she weaves things together and stirs things up, weaves things together and stirs things up. And if that isn't a description of how the world is operating, I don't know what is. And then for years, as I've heard this story told, I kept wondering about that black dog. You know, you notice she just ignores it. She knows it's there, but she ignores it, and then it comes and completely unravels everything that she's worked and worked and worked on. And still, she doesn't give it any attention, but looks at the loose threads, picks them up again, and as she begins weaving, a whole new vision comes to her mind, and she begins to weave things together again. Well, as I was sitting with the black dog, thinking about what is that for me, I don't know what it is for you, I realized that for me, the black dog is impermanence. It's with us all the time. We know that that's the way the world is set up, so that things come and go. Beloved people come and then they go. Jobs come and go. Creativity comes and goes. Freedom to move around comes and goes in a pandemic. There's an impermanence to this life. But like the old woman, I think a lot of us simply ignore the fact that the black dog is always there and watching our every move until such a time as our attention goes somewhere else, and then all of a sudden, impermanence strikes again. I think that might be for me what that black dog is all about. And for me, I want to make friends with that dog because too often that black dog has been something that I've resisted and wanted to go away. But now, in this time in my life, I'm really appreciating how impermanence is so important, because what would a world be like if we lived in the times that we're living in now all the time, where things are stirred up and stirred up and stirred up and stirred up, and we never, ever, ever have the experience of moving to weaving things together with a new vision? What would that be like? And so impermanence, the black dog, important. So as the story was unfolding for me and the theme of Vision Quest was in my mind, I began to realize in my own spiritual journey some points on that path that have become really significant and important to me. And I was hoping they would help you in these stirred up times for your path as well. So what I was noticing is that when chaos happens, and the weaving that we've had going on forever is a chaotic mess on the floor, so to speak. When chaos is happening in the world, when it's happening in our personal life, we really have only two options, really. And one of the options is an option that I've taken over and over again that isn't very effective, but I habitually went to it for years until my spiritual understanding came to the rescue and I would move out of it. So what was that? Well, one response to chaos in our personal lives or in the global community that we inhabit is attachment to what was. Attachment to what was. The thinking that, the way it was the way it should be, the way it ought to be, the way I want it to be. And that leads to a tremendous amount of anger and resentment and victimhood and fear. And it's easy to stand there. It's easy to be in that place when chaos and impermanence happens, when things aren't the way they used to be. I certainly have stood in that place and stomped my feet and written pages in my journal about how it was wonderful and why did it have to go and all that kind of stuff. And the spiritual rescue came in the form of moving into acceptance. Moving into acceptance. And not only acceptance, which is when you're in the resistance of wanting it to be the way it was, when someone says, if you just accept what's happened, you'll be a lot happier, that's really annoying. Or at least it was for me when someone did that for me. Totally open-heartedly sharing that the way out of my misery would be acceptance. So truth in that. But what really helped me to let go of that wishing that it was different place, wanting it to be the way I thought it was, because what I began to realize is I'm not even sure it was the way I thought it was. Maybe you've had that experience too. Was not only moving in acceptance, but moving with curiosity. And this is one of the unique gifts that I think we sacred humans have. We share it with a lot of other species, but it's a really highly developed gift that we've been given, this gift of curiosity. So moving with acceptance and curiosity leads to a whole different state of being that allows us to move more effectively with what is. And for me, what happened when I moved with acceptance and curiosity is I began to encounter the chaos, the seeming chaos, the change, the impermanence in a different way. And I began to ask different questions. I stopped asking why questions, like why did this have to happen and why me? And I started to ask questions about how and what. So how is this part of my spiritual path? How am I called to respond to the difficulties that our society is having right now in terms of racial equity, in terms of political upheaval, in terms of systems that we've relied on for years and years, possibly needing to completely be upended and a new vision for them come into expression? How am I called in this way to respond to that and to offer what I have to give? In addition to what? What is the gift that I bring, and what is it that I can be responsible for in this changing landscape that can contain wonders upon wonders from the cave of knowledge? So the questions become different if we move with chaos in terms of curiosity and acceptance rather than resistance and attachment. So when we can move with acceptance and curiosity, an interesting thing begins to happen. Just like the old woman, she sat, you'll remember in that story, she sat and looked at the chaotic mess on the floor and then began to pull one loose end and weave it again. Now, in our own spiritual lives and in the life that we're living in the world, there are seemingly a lot of loose ends right now for all of us. The pandemic has raised all kinds of interesting questions when we're in a place of acceptance and curiosity. And the chaos on the floor is how we used to do things, not only individually, but collectively. And so as we begin to pick up threads and begin to weave our personal life, and we've been doing that for the last 7 months in this pandemic, as we begin to weave, when we are motivated by curiosity and acceptance, that's the perfect ground of being for vision to arise, just like it did for the old woman. As she began to use the craft and the skill that she had trained herself in, she began to weave, and new visions of an even better design came to her mind, and she began to focus on the new vision and began to create out of that new vision an exquisitely beautiful garment. Well, for me, this is a way of talking about the opportunity at hand here for us. And the opportunity is to allow, with acceptance and curiosity, vision to arise. And the quest for vision happens differently for different people. I don't know if you knew that, but for me, as I began to listen to my friends who have crafted new visions in this time, I realized that for some who are very kinesthetic in the world, they move and they run and they walk and they do yoga and they do all kinds of relating to the world from their body, moving. Their vision often, no surprise, contained elements of a new vision where movement was central to the theme. Movement in every way, not just physically. For those who are of a more emotional tenor and they encounter the world from a feeling sense, their visions are full of how they want to feel and how they want people to feel and how they want the vision of the world to feel for all people everywhere. And for those whose vision is really a vision of seeing, and they encounter the world through their beautiful eyes and their vision of how things are, of course, their new vision contained lots of beautiful sights and opportunities for growth and expression. So what kind of vision do you craft out of how you're attuned in the world? What's your sense of the world comes through the most strongly. And that would be the place to start, with acceptance and curiosity to allow a new vision to unfold. And I know for a lot of us, I don't know about you, but I know in my classes, often students feel that this orientation might be wrong, that they are doing it wrong, that they should create a vision in a particular way that maybe their teacher or their people in their lives are seeing. But you know, the truth of the matter is it takes all of us visioning where we are, where our native gifts and talents reside, where our skills and our crafting has been developed. So those of us who are inclined toward the arts, our vision likely will come through that. Those of us inclined toward speaking and sharing through song and storytelling and other performances, it'll likely come through that. I don't know how it'll come for you, but there's some elements I wanted to mention. You probably already know, but the clear components of any vision, and oh, we need your vision for the world to begin to weave together once again and move out of the stirring things up stage that we've been experiencing. So the vision, any vision, no matter what it's coming through, has a couple of elements. One is a very clear perception of what the vision is. And I'm using the word perception because of that facet of coming through different perceptual lenses, but the vision will be clear and it will have some important features. A lot of us would like to have the whole design mapped out and figured out and you know, all the way down to the exact details. But my experience of Vision Quest is more that the perceptual field offers a new vision, like it did to the old woman. And as I pursue that vision, keeping in mind the important elements to it, new and more wonderful details become added as I continue on the path of creation. And so the clear perceptual field with a few important factors, that's where we start. And then we begin to add. And what we add, which Joe Dispenza is so great at describing, is we begin to add the element of no time and no space. What does that mean? It means that we understand that this vision comes from a place that we all are connected to that has nothing to do with historical time. It knows only the now. And so this vision in its entirety exists in wholeness. And we're just the vehicle for bringing it out into this particular time and space that we're inhabiting. And so because of that, we can let go of worrying about how it will become, because it already is. We let go of the future. We also let go of the past. You notice the old woman let go completely of the design that she had before. And likewise, we let go of how things were in order to be open to the vision that's seeking to be created in the here and now. So no time, no space, bringing forward a completed vision into our time and our historical dimension. And lastly, we bring in how it feels. Even if feeling is not our dominant way of relating to the world, we want energetically to know how we are feeling in the new vision as if it was already here and now. And so we orient ourselves with feeling. We anchor the vision with feeling. Do you want to feel joyful in the new world? I do. Do you want to feel that people are immensely supportive? I do. Do you want to feel like systems that have not been serving us have either been completely revamped or completely let go of, and new systems that are more friendly to the vision that is being created globally are in place? Whatever the vision, we hook our feeling nature to it, knowing that the vision exists already. Now, I wanted to leave you with one story that illustrates the vision that we here at CSL Bellingham have. And you know, me in particular. And I wanted to start with the story and just close up with a couple of features of our vision in case you wanted to jump on board with our vision, which so many of you have. when we switched to StreamYard, a lot of you who are on Facebook were worried because the Facebook numbers went down from 700 to 300 or something. And what we didn't realize at first is, oh no, a whole bunch of people are watching on YouTube and on our website now. And so we even have a larger audience. So I'm inviting you, whether you are part of the local community or you've joined our community as a global citizen, so to speak, to hear about what our vision is. So here it is. And this is a story from our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. You'll remember perhaps that he was teaching in the 30s and 40s on through the 60s. And as his organization was beginning, which he was reluctant to even start, as he was beginning, he started to ordain people to go and start another church. And this is a story about one of those. It's written about in the Essential Ernest Holmes, a book of writings of Ernest Holmes. So this is a true story. The third branch church to be organized and chartered, this was in 1945, was in East Los Angeles, led by the Reverend J. Arthur Twine, an African American with a congregation both black and white. When some complaints were murmured about this, resulting in the June 1945 issue of the Signs of Mind magazine, dropping East Side from first to last in the hitherto alphabetical listing, and adding the designation colored, Ernest Holmes arranged with his friend, the Reverend Twine, to go there and speak. To a hushed and packed house he began. I have been told that too many non-Caucasians attend these lectures. True, there are Caucasians and non-Caucasians in this congregation, but this we must affirm. We are all children of one living God, one life that permeates all without exception, one intelligence that governs all. And most important, every person who abides in this universe is a significant entity in the one universal consciousness. Our doors will forever be open to all. Whoever you are, be proud, for you are indeed a divine idea in the mind of God. Now, this is my favorite part of the story, besides the crying part. The magazine immediately reverted to the way it had been. Love that. So why does that make me cry? Because for me, as the spiritual leader of this congregation and as a minister of the Centers for Spiritual Living, that is where we stand. We stand with Ernest Holmes in saying that every individual, no matter what, is a divine expression of the one. And so we welcome all people here. That's part of our incredible inclusivity that we've had in this organization. And have we been perfect in it? No, we have not. But are we working diligently to perfect that vision? Yes, indeed we are. And this time, when racial equity is up once again, is a time for all of us to really examine deeply where the details of that vision can be woven in more solidly, more beautifully, so that the exquisite garment of our spiritual lives is even more beautiful than it has been. So that's part of the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham's idea, is an incredible, richly diverse, inclusive, and compassionate community. And this is in integrity with our deeply held spiritual principles. And integrity for me is one of the most important of all the aspects on the spiritual path. It's what holds us in place. It allows us to walk forward. It allows us to correct when we've made mistakes. It's a very potent thing, integrity. And so as an organization, we focus on that and we look at that and we work with that all the time, because this is a perfection-free zone. So we make mistakes and we correct them. We make mistakes, we correct them. Just like I'm sure that old woman every once in a while knits in a way, just like I do, where she drops a stitch. And so you simply pull it out and fix the mistake. So we're working on that all the time. The other parts of our vision that I think are important for you to know and maybe jump on board with in your own personal expression of them is our community is loving, caring, supportive, And we are a group of spiritual seekers who are constantly coming together to celebrate, uplift, and connect to one another so that we can be supported on our spiritual path. And lastly, we live by our spiritual principles. They're central to what we do here, and we use them to live not only spiritually, but pragmatically. So the principles that we teach are ones that we can apply, and we support people and each other in application. Because you know what Ernest Holmes used to say? Realization without application is hallucination. And we're about wanting to be completely present with the vision. So I invite you into that vision as I close with this prayer treatment, our form of affirmative prayer. Join me in this. Here and now in this moment, the complete vision for the Center for Spiritual Living Bellingham, for the Centers for Spiritual Living as a global organization, are already present, fully orbed, complete and whole in themselves. And now I know for this center and all of you who are joining us here, that the vision for an incredibly inclusive, supportive, compassionate, high integrity group of individuals who move as one, gather their minds together in classes, workshops, team building, and Sundays, that we gather our minds in the knowing that the loving support, the incredible desire to live spiritual lives and move with pragmatic spiritual principles that work, that we are living that vision, and that that vision is created out in front of us in more and more beautiful detail as we work together. In my own life, I seek to be that loving, compassionate, supportive, incredibly inclusive being that moves with the vision for my own life in strong and powerful new ways. I'm grateful for the vision before me, the vision within me, and the vision unfolding. And I'm grateful for you being part of that. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you for being part of that vision. I want to tell you a few things about what's going on with the center. We have a couple of things you may want to be involved in right now. Right after our service at noon today, Philip Flores and the men's group will be meeting at noon, and they meet by Zoom right now. And so if you would like to be a part of that, you can email Phil Flores, philintexas@gmail.com, and he will send you the link for the Zoom today at noon. And we also this week on Wednesday are asking any of you who would like to have a takeout dinner made by our wonderful crew of Harvest Dinner Hoedown cooks. If you would like to take a meal home that we've prepared for you out of love, you need to register for that by Wednesday at noon. Now you need to tell us a couple of things. Are you gluten-free? Would you prefer the vegan or the chicken dish? And you need to know also that all of the dishes are dairy-free, so if you're a lactose intolerant person, this meal is for you. And we would love you to let us know how many dinners you would like to have. The drive-through will be open from 4 to 6. There'll be music playing, there'll be people dancing, there'll be people just joyous to see you in your car. We'll run that meal to your open window and hand it over to you, and off you go to enjoy a wonderful meal that we prepared for you. We wanted to make this accessible to everybody, so we're asking only for a love offering of what you can give. If you would like to donate that now, there's a donate button on our website. You can also bring a check or cash the day of the delivery, and we'll have a box for that so that you can distribute the money that way as well. We hope you'll take advantage of it. Lori Munoz, who is our chief cook, is just a wonder in the kitchen and has a food handler's license, so she's making sure we're all doing everything exactly as we should in this very careful time. Let's see what else. I wanted to make you aware, of course, of the daily prayers that are being offered at 7 a.m. I know it's early, but you don't have to have your screen on to turn on the Zoom and listen to a morning prayer by one of our practitioners, sometimes even me. The Zoom link is actually in the announcements, but if you need it, you can contact the office and they'll be happy to get that to you. Also, we have a new meditation experience. If you would like, Shyla Mo, who is a retired practitioner with our center and one of our board members, is also a graduate of the Barbara Brennan School of Healing, and she's preparing to offer a series of meditations that she's calling sunshine meditations that work with the chakras and opening them up to light. And so Shyla's going to be offering that starting in November, which is going to be here before we know it, at 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings. And you're welcome to come and be a part of the sunshine meditations. Also, we have a group that's been meeting. It's the course in, it's called Way of Mastery, that's based on the Course in Miracles. And they've moved their time. And so if you would like that time, I believe it starts, I think it goes from 9:30 to 11, but don't quote me on that. Call or email the office and we'll get you that information. There's a sturdy group of almost 20 that do the Way of Mastery, so you're welcome to join them and get the link from them for that. We also always do morning moving meditation with Joe Asebedo on Tuesday mornings at 7, here outside, socially distant. So if you're in the area, feel free to join him for that. And I think the last thing I wanted to do is thank all of you who took the survey that's on our website. And if you haven't had a chance, I'm inviting you to go and take that survey. We're preparing the sanctuary, the grounds, and ourselves for when that time comes, whenever it comes, when we can reopen. And we have a couple questions to ask you. So the survey is short, but really important. So if you haven't had a chance to fill it out, if you wouldn't mind going to the website and clicking on the survey button, we'd love to hear from you. And I wanted to thank, you didn't get to see the marigold altar maybe, but I wanted to thank all the people responsible for creating a very beautiful altar for those who have passed from COVID in the last 7 months. It was really touching and moving. And thanks especially to Dan and Heidi Dietrich and all of you who grew marigolds and helped out in any way. We also want to thank all of you who donated money to our Mighty Cause fundraiser. We have replaced the equipment. We're getting ready when we have an audience once again to use our wonderful new camera that you helped us purchase. So thank you very much. And so I'll turn it over to Amber with a great smile and thanks to you for coming today. Blessings to you.
Enjoy your wonderful week, and we will see you again next Sunday.